Thật ra bây giờ là cái ta đã ta bên xe cái ta tôi tới bên từ xe bạn làm dan pada dan pada dan memang suatu tujuan pada teman tekan saya pada saya experience berarti itu saya perspektif berarti berpengalaman dan European berarti conclusion saya European
Hi.
sẽ diễn đến
My name's Ruben.
về bên tiếp về bên đang chưa về tem anh khi tên bên đang
Um, well, it's a long story, but
tem
the fast version is that, you know, I think I've
I get the
been
cam
okay.
I get the cam I get the paper friends
Okay. I was exposed to both deaf and hearing culture. Growing up, my family, I was raised my early childhood years in the Philippines. And so I spent a lot of time interacting with other deaf kids that my mom was teaching, and also interacting with other hearing kids at the same time. So I was raised in kind of both worlds when I was little, and it just became very natural to me, I guess. It was easy for me to have deaf friends or talk to deaf people, but also interact with hearing people.
sa fan but but you hear fan but you hear fan in band have a them
I don't know what they thought, but it was something I always had to introduce. Like, oh, my mom is deaf. Just letting you know, she can't hear you, but she can read your lips. So just look at her and move your mouth when you talk with her, okay? And they would say, okay, and then a lot of times they have a hard time understanding your voice. But some people got used to really fast. I don't know. Some people had a hard time. So
okay so had to but hear dad and them had to fan
I think a lot of people think of hearing as like the default. So I'm tending to think more about what it's like to have a deaf mom. But the I guess it's hard to talk about it in general because I just have a lot of memories of where, there could be a lot of miscommunication or miscommunication between you and dad. And I guess I understood how that it was difficult to be in like a long-term relationship with, having that language, your first language difference, like hearing person's language first is spoken, a deaf person's language first is signed normally. And maybe for you is different. For you maybe it was like home sign, right, with your parents. I know it.
no they become sad
No, you had no home signs.
big let the become sad
Wow.
nothing
Okay.
I'm thinking
I know some hearing parents, they have home sign with their kids.
Yeah.
They just make it up. Not you? Oh, okay, I didn't know that. So, yeah.
But better and better giving them
I don't think there are any disadvantages.
for the
There was
bad.
no. I mean, the only thing is that I can't call you when I need you, but that's it. Like that's not really a big problem. So maybe. I mean, I wouldn't say this is a disadvantage, but I would be like an interpreter. I've grown up as like an interpreter for a long time, like in church services or at going shopping or whatever, somebody doesn't understand you, and so no, it's just like this person doesn't know how to communicate with deaf people, so or they feel awkward or yeah, of course, it's like I have a responsibility to, of course, yeah, I have a responsibility to help you. So some like advantages, I think, like I said before, I've been exposed to a lot of deaf culture. I think a lot of hearing people don't have any experience with deaf people. They don't have any experience with people with disabilities. So it's like when they encounter someone that's deaf, they don't know how to react. It's like they don't know how to act. And so a lot of times I would notice a lot of people would just ignore you and they would just talk to me or dad directly. And it's like I saw that growing up. I thought, that is not right,
So you banned the paper edited.
I don't know. It's not something you can like teach them in that moment. You just have to deal with it and move on. I hope that interaction teaches them that, oh, this person is not weird or whatever. They're just a person that can't hear. That's it. And so I think that is one big advantage I have, growing up with you, is that I'm not afraid of people that are deaf or, blind or whatever, I've been exposed to a lot of that, a lot of different types of people. And so it's not a problem.
So but further experience you had with you remember something against the kind
Oh, yeah.
because that's what they yeah
Yeah. Tiff and I, my sister, Tiffany, my sister, and I took advantage of that all the time. Bad. We were bad. We knew that mom couldn't read that she couldn't read our lips, so we would that she couldn't read our lips, so we would talk without moving our mouth, so that she couldn't see what we were saying. So we would say things like, look over there, without moving our mouth.
The dog without moving the mouth. Here again, the dad.
Yeah, right. So, Tiff and I, me and Dad, we would always play pranks on you because we'd take advantage of the fact that you couldn't hear us.
So, the man I have a gift of reading. Taking
Yeah, of course.
The other memories.
I mean, a lot of memories, I don't think it has specifically to do with you being deaf. It's just you're my mom. We have a lot of good memories together. Yeah, you're very sensitive to smells. I remember one time in Idaho, we bought a Christmas tree, brought it home, and Dad and I thought it'd be funny to play a prank on you. So we bought that fake air freshener that's shaped like a tree. We hid it inside the tree because the tree smells like pine also, right?
Yeah.
But we thought, I wonder if she'll be able to find it. Instantly, when we brought it home and hid it, you said, "What's that smell?" You followed your nose all the way to the tree and said, "What is this?"
I had that functional so fag, like my first thing after a big.
So maybe that has to do with being deaf because your other senses are more sensitive. I don't know, but it's
Seeing, use.
right. So
Remember that you ever got out of that if that come to even the kid.
yeah, I was a good kid. I would just stay in my room and play video games or read.
So, whatever you have, deaf children, whatever if you have deaf children.
I mean, I know that you encounter a lot more struggles that hearing people don't have to face. So I know their life will be harder. But I would not be sad about that. I have an advantage in that I already know, some sign language. And so, that helps me. I don't have to learn another language to communicate with my kids. But I think I would tell them your life will be a challenge, but at the same time you can meet that challenge like your grandma.
With positive attitude.
Right. It's important.
Yeah. You haven't said that to me,
2 months old.
kids,
Very cute.
dying at the and to apply to take some sand of it.
Yeah, we're already signing a little bit. Sign milk, sign mom, dad, sign hungry, sign for changing his diapers, things like that, simple signs. It's hard because we hold him a lot right now, and it's hard to it's one-handed. Right, that's it. So maybe when he's able to crawl around or be more on his own, I'll start signing more.
Yeah. Okay. You have any person that you could about have that
To be honest, I wish I wish obviously my signing is not the best.
kid.
No. my vocabulary and listening skills are not the best. So you're the only deaf person really I interact with. So it's like I don't have a lot of opportunity to practice signing.
You remember that he went to the school and major, but that was
kind of cheating because I already knew a lot of sign.
and interpret different but whatever.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, thanks, but it's like I know I can interpret for you because you're my mom. But I cannot interpret professionally. I'm not that good. So.
Good job.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I hope sometime if you have a question, please comment where to answer. But I can attend that question answer that time. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you for having me.
Bye. So, thank you for watching. And so, make a comment down below and subscribe please and please like. So anh kia to learn more about the culture, different things. Take care. Good day.